Hey guys. Meeting. Could you please turn your cameras on? No, guys, could you please turn your cameras on? Okay, thank you so much. Those of you who are turning them on. All right. So, started, let me share this. Okay, guys. So first of all, thank you for turning your cameras on. I appreciate that. And well, first thing, welcome to this TOEFL preparation course. I think I'd like to start by saying that it's a big program that we have here at Executive English, the TOEFL program. We've been doing this for a while. And I've personally been working here, especially in the TOEFL program for a while as well. So it's really nice to have you guys here. Welcome to this course. Now, one thing that I unfortunately have to start by saying is that the policy of the sub-use in class, and well, it's related to what I was asking you to do before. So it is really necessary that you guys have your cameras on during classes. And it's because we've seen, throughout time that students who have their cameras on are more likely to be present, are more likely to be there paying attention. And I know how it is, personally, I've taken online courses myself. I actually like online classes. I think they're like they're a good thing, I'm not against online classes, but I do know how easy it is to get distracted when you're taking them, because at the end of the day, like it's just a screen, right? And it's just somebody speaking that you don't know or cannot see you if you turn your cameras off. And and I know how it is, you have so many things to get distracted with, and it's quite easy to do it. So it'd be really good, it'd be really great if you guys can have your cameras on during classes, and it's good for both of us. Okay, so that's something that I'm gonna ask you starting now. So every class I'll keep reminding you. And of course, it's fine if for whatever reason you're not at home yet, you cannot turn your camera on, maybe you are at work yet, or I don't know, there's something wrong with your camera. That's totally fine. It happens to all of us. But please let me know so that I could take into account. Okay? So that's the first thing, and it comes from administration. But let's continue. So, first thing, why are we having today's class? Why are we having a class on a Monday? As you probably know already, today we're only having an introductory class, right? This is a class where we are going to talk about the details of the course. We will talk about the TOEFL exam in general. We'll have a brief overview of what the TOEFL test is. We're not having an actual class yet, all right? Because classes start tomorrow. So, first thing, we will only be having classes Tuesdays through Fridays. All right, Tuesdays through Fridays. Our week starts on Tuesday and it finishes on Friday, and it's at 7 p.m. Bolivia time. Okay, so be really careful with this, the time zone, if you guys are not living under Bolivia time zone. So is there anyone here who's not from Bolivia by any chance? Are you guys all from Bolivia? Alexandra, are you from Bolivia? Where are you from?
I'm from Peru.
Okay, what time is it there?
Now it's 7 p.m.
Okay, 7. So you have the same time zone then. Who else?
Uh, one 1 hour less. What
Yeah,
time is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm thinking that it's 7 right now, but it's actually 8, right? Yes, you're right. Okay, yes, that's true. Right now in Bolivia, it's 8:08. So yeah, we have 1 hour difference. Anybody else who's not living in Bolivia? No? Okay, most of our students are from Bolivia, but we've had students from all over the region, right? We have a lot of students from Ecuador lately, Uruguay, El Salvador, Peru. Okay, guys, and please, Lorena, Ale, don't forget to turn your cameras on and see you too, where you can. Okay, guys. Now, does anybody know how many classes we're gonna have or how many weeks this course is gonna last? Can anybody remind me, please, how many weeks?
6 weeks, Miss.
Exactly, thank you. 6 weeks. So if we're gonna have 4 classes a week, Tuesdays through Fridays, 4 classes a week, during 6 weeks, if you guys do the math, that makes that we'll be having a total of 24 classes, 24 1-hour classes, right? From 7 to 8. And I'm not counting today, by the way. So out of these 24 classes or 24 sessions, half of them, that means 12, will be theory classes. Okay, so what does this mean? That means that during the theory, we'll be looking at the types of questions, we'll be looking at the TOEFL format, we'll be looking at tips and strategies and hacks to answer the questions, at templates, at sample responses, and everything that has to do with the theory, the format, everything that's behind the TOEFL test, everything that you guys have to know. So I'm pretty much going to be explaining. Obviously, we're going to try to make the class as dynamic as possible, but we'll be seeing that. Now, the other half, that means 12, the other 12 classes will be practice sessions where you will be practicing what we see on our theory classes. So you guys will be practicing, we'll try to simulate the real exam. So whatever section we're in, we'll try to simulate it so that you guys can practice too, okay? And that means that 12 theory, 12 practice sessions, that makes a total of 24. On Tuesdays and on Thursdays, we'll be looking at the theory. On Wednesdays and Fridays, we'll be having our practice sessions. Okay, so Tuesdays and Thursdays for theory, Wednesdays and Fridays for practice. Is this okay so far? Do you guys have questions? No questions? Okay, one thing I like to say here, like from experience, I'd say that preparing for an standardized exam, such as the TOEFL IBT, requires a lot of practice. You obviously have to have the theory, and that is what you're probably gonna get. Like, that's probably the most that you're gonna get out of this course, the theory, the tips, the format, everything that you have to know. But then, I'd say that preparing for the TOEFL exam, like, requires 20% theory. So 20% of you getting to know the test and knowing how to answer the questions, but 80% practice. So 80% of you practicing everything you've learned and practicing answering the questions in the way that they should be answered, right? Because you're not going to get it right at the first time. I won't tell you, okay, so you have to do this and this and that. And then the first time you try it, you'll do it right. It doesn't work like that, right? It requires 20% theory and 80% practice. This won't fulfill that, right? You guys won't get your 80% practice here on our practice session. So I like to use this opportunity to also say that you guys need to practice on your own too. You need to practice at home. You need to find a time where you can do simulation or practice tests, and where you practice everything we see as well. Okay, so 24 classes or 12 hours of practice is not enough. You'll need more, and you gotta practice on your own too. I will be giving you guys the material for you to practice, so it'll be easier, but you have to practice. Okay, I guess That's what I'm saying here. So, do you guys have any questions now before we continue? Okay. So here's a little bit about me so that you guys can know a little bit about me and what's like related to the TOEFL preparation. So sorry about that. My name is Andrea, and I am an ESL teacher, English as a second language teacher. I've been certified by TOEFL Universal, a company that specializes in certifying ESL professors, ESL instructors, TOEFL instructors too. And well, I've been working as an ESL teacher tutor for the past 3 years with my certificate, right? But before that, I was also working a little bit outside of the curriculum, teaching English as a second language, as a foreign language to students here in Bolivia, but in other parts of the region as well. Now, I learned English as a second language as well. I learned English, my mother tongue is Spanish. And well, I learned it because I went to an American high school pretty much. And ever since I graduated from high school back then, I started tutoring. I started teaching ESL, teaching or preparing students for standardized tests, like the TOEFL test, also the SAT, a little bit of the IELTS. So I've been doing a lot of standardized tests. And 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, I started working at Executive English. And well, I've been working ever since, especially focusing on TOEFL preparation. I took the TOEFL test myself. Of course, these are my latest scores that I took when I took the test on May 2022, last year. And I got 114 out of 120, which is the maximum score that you can get. And as you can see here, these are a screenshot of my scores. These are the sub scores too, the ones that I got in each section. So in case you guys are interested. And well, I guess that's it. This is the relevant things that you guys should know in terms of TOEFL preparation. So I don't know if you guys want to know anything else, if you guys have any questions, or if everything's okay. Is this clear? Is this okay? Do you guys have any questions?
Everything is clear, Andrea. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Also, I'm sorry I don't know if you hear my voice okay. I have a sore throat. I'm not feeling too well, but I'm getting better, so I'll probably be better tomorrow. Now, of course, this is a TOEFL preparation course, so we cannot start without talking about what the TOEFL IBT is. So I'm gonna start by asking you guys, what do you know about the TOEFL test so far? So what do you know about the TOEFL test? Anything you know is okay. So what can you guys tell me?
I don't know nothing at all, but I just know it can help you with university and with universities. Yeah, that stuff.
Right, thanks, Nicolas. Yeah, it's true. Anything else? Anybody else?
Yes, like Nicola said, it is a test that helps us in the university, and it makes the possibility to apply to other university around the world.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think you guys have summarized it. You've said it for me. So yeah, the TOEFL test, first of all, it's an English exam. It's an English test that like people who have learned English as a second or as a foreign language take. And as you guys said, Nicolas and Pensi, it definitely helps you when applying for universities abroad. Most of the time, it is actually a requirement that universities have for receiving international students. So when I say universities abroad, I don't necessarily mean universities like in the US or in Australia or the UK, not necessarily in universities in English-speaking countries, but all over the world, so even universities in Mexico, here in South America, in Spain, so Germany, basically universities where the language of instruction, or maybe where you will be studying a program in English, then the TOEFL is one of the requirements, right? The TOEFL exam. Not only the TOEFL exam, but there are other ones as well. So you probably have seen, if you guys were like researching universities and stuff, that they give you other options, right? So the three most common English exams, internationally speaking, the TOEFL IBT is one of them, the IELTS is the second, and the Cambridge exam is the third. Those are the three biggest traditional ones. But of course, just like everything, things are changing. They are creating and developing new English exams as we speak. So right now you have the Duolingo test, you have the Pearson exam, and there are plenty of others. But to be honest, TOEFL, IELTS, and Cambridge, I don't think they're gonna disappear soon. They're gonna stay here for a while. So sorry, that's the TOEFL test, yes. By the way, it stands for Test of English as a Foreign Language. Now, why do we say IBT? The thing is, the TOEFL, the TOEFL has different versions. Given that it's such a huge test, there are different versions to it. The IBT is only one of the versions. It's the internet-based test because you take it using the internet on a computer. But it's not the only one. You have the PBT, the paper-based test that you take on paper. You have the PPT, you have the TOEFL Essentials. There are many versions of the TOEFL test, okay? But I don't really think that you guys should be worrying about that. I am almost 100% sure that you're all taking the TOEFL IBT. Of course, it isn't bad to check, so I suggest that you guys check just in case. But the IBT is the most common one, and it's the most academic one. So, and it's the most taken one here in South America. So you guys are probably taking this one. Okay. Any questions so far? All right, so this is just so that you guys have some context. The company that created, makes, and administers the TOEFL exam is the ETS, the Standardized Testing Service. I just want you guys to be familiarized with these three letters, okay? That's the only thing that you guys have to know. ETS is the company that makes a test. Like, how is this important? Starting from now, like starting tomorrow, we're gonna be practicing and we're gonna be learning using different material, right? And you're gonna find a lot of material. If you guys go online and you look up for anything related to the TOEFL, you're gonna have plenty of websites dedicated to preparing students for the TOEFL exam, plenty of practice material. You'll find a lot of things, Now, you have to learn to differentiate official material that is given and provided by the ETS itself. You have to learn to differentiate it with unofficial material, right? That can be anything else that you find in any other website. So that's the reason why I always say this, ETS, they have their own website, ets.org, I think it is. So you'll find the official material there. It's always better to practice with official material to learn from tips coming from the ETS itself, because they have given us a lot of things to work with, rather than using other types of websites and material. Because the format is only going to be precise when you practice using official material. If you practice with unofficial material, there might be some slight changes, and you'll notice that when you take the real test. So That's the only thing that you guys have to know here. Okay? ETS is the official company who makes and administers the test. And finally, there's one more thing that is important to say though, and that is that when you guys register for taking the test, has anybody here registered yet? Has anybody registered for the TOEFL exam? Does anyone have a date? Nope. Okay. So when you go, sorry, Pansy?
No, I have a date. I have a date, 8 July. It is my exam, my test.
July, what date?
8th.
Okay, nice. So you have already registered for the test?
Not at all.
Not yet, but you have this date planned. Okay. Okay. But how do you know this is your date if you haven't registered yet?
I'm sorry, I didn't listen.
Like, how do you know that you will take it on July the 8th?
I'm sorry, perdón, se cortó. The test I will give you in my university. So
Okay, good. July 8th. Okay, nice. So you will take it in your university, nice. Now, what I was saying here is that when you guys register and when you register Pensi 2, you will see that you actually have two options because, by the way, you can only register for the exam in the official ETS website, right? And you have to do it personally because you'll submit your own, like your own documents and do the payment there. And when you register for the test, they will give you two options. So you can either take the test at home and with the home edition version of the test, which is something relatively new post-COVID, where they basically allow you to take the test at home, right? So you can take it on your own computers, in your own room, and so forth. Or if not, you also have the option of taking the test in a test center. So you will have some authorized test centers in your city. So in this case, for example, Pence's University must be an authorized test center. Right here in Bolivia, there are some test centers. In Cochabamba, where I live, you have ASB, for example. The CBA is another test center where I personally took the test. In other cities, you have other test centers. So you have those two options. You can either take the test at home, or if not, take the test in a test center, right? And that's the traditional way. So what do you guys think about that? What would you say? Do you think it's better to take it at home or in a test center? What would you prefer?
Personally, I would like to take it at a test center. Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay, and can you tell me why?
I don't know. I think I did certain tests from another language. Yeah, I think it's more easy in a in a center. Yeah.
Okay, but how is it easier? What do you mean, like in terms of the content or the experience?
In terms of, I don't know. I think in content and it's for me it's more uh more comfortable. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Nicolas. Anybody else? So let's talk a little bit about this because some students want some guidance and like when making this decision. This is honestly an important decision, and there are some things that you guys have to consider. So, I mean, both are okay. The content is the same. So it doesn't matter if you take it at home or if you take it at home or in a test center, you will still have the same tests. All right. So first thing, don't worry about the content. It's exactly the same test that you get. So what is the difference then? The only difference is the experience. of taking it in a test center or taking it at home. Both of them have their pros and cons, and let's discuss them. So, what do you guys think would be an advantage of taking it at home? What could be an advantage of taking the test at home? Honestly, the number one advantage, the number one reason why people decide to take the test at home, and I've heard it from many students, is that you have fewer distractions. Okay, so what does that mean? When you guys take the test in a test center, you don't take it on your own, unfortunately. Most unless you're very lucky and for some reason you're the only one that has registered for that date in that test center. That does not happen very regularly, but like normally speaking, you would take the test with other people, right? Personally, I took the test with like 7, 8 more people. And when you guys take the test in a test center, you'll take them probably in the same room, side by side, right? So you'll be next to each other. Now, it is true that they do give you like, obviously you take it in separate computers, separate cabins, but and they give you headphones too, so you have to have your headphones on during the duration of the entire test. But even with the headphones on, it can be a little bit distracting to have other people there, especially if you guys like are in the speaking section, let's say. Even with my headphones on, to be honest, I could hear other students answer their speaking questions, right? So you can hear other students doing their tests, and that can be a little bit distracting, especially if you guys are not used to that, especially if you are someone that gets distracted really, really easily. So that would be the number one reason why people prefer to take it at home, because you have fewer distractions. Okay, it's easy to focus and concentrate on your own thing. You have a proctor there, but they won't be talking to you unless you do something, right? So in a test center, you got more distractions versus home edition where it's just you. Now, another reason why people would prefer to take it at home, obviously, may be more comfortable, but aside from that, you have more dates available. So if you guys take it at home, then you will have a lot of options from where to choose, a lot of options for dates. I think you can take it like 3 or 4 times. You have like 3 or 4 options a week, and you can take it if you want in the morning, in the afternoon. I think you have evening options. I don't know. So you have a lot of more options regarding when to take the test. Okay. Versus when you take it in a test center, then you just have a few options. So you may have like 1 or 2 dates every month. It's not like you have plenty of options for where to choose. Okay. And you can only take it in the morning if you take it in a test center. There's no other choice. So that's another reason why people would take it at home. And obviously, it may be more comfortable as you're on your own computer, you're at home, in your own room, maybe there's more light, I don't know, maybe more comfortable for you. But then everybody would take it at home, right? So why do people take it in a test center still? So although this is true, what happens is taking it in a test center has certain advantages as well. What's the number one reason why people take the test in a test center and why I personally took the test in a test center? It's less risky. Okay, what do I mean by that? When you guys take it at home, and like I've heard many students complain about this, anything you do could lead to your scores being canceled. So anything that's slightly suspicious, anything that could happen with your computer or any software problems that you may have may lead to your scores getting canceled. So they are really careful with students that take the home edition test. So it is very risky if something were to happen with your connection to the internet, with your Wi-Fi or your computer, your microphone, your camera. Everything has to be working perfectly, or otherwise your scores could get canceled. You may lose one section, you may lose one question, and they won't make it up for you, you know? So your scores just get canceled and that's it. There's nothing left for you to do. Okay? So that's the reason why taking in a test center may be safer. Like in my case, for example, when I was taking the test, during the listening section, my computer just froze. It stopped working all of a sudden. And I hadn't answered one question yet, and they skipped directly to the questions. And I hadn't listened to the audio file, but I just got the question. So something was wrong with my computer. But you know, I didn't do anything. I just stopped taking the test and I raised my hand and talked to the evaluator, and she solved the problem for me, you know. So I got back to the question and everything was okay. So whatever happens when you're taking the test in a test center, you can ask for guidance and they will help you and nothing will happen. But if something like that happens at home, then there's nothing that you are gonna be able to do, you know? So that is usually the factor that makes people take the test in a test center. You know, it's safer in that way. Maybe another thing would be that I don't know why, but for some reason, some universities are like, I don't know, they don't trust the home edition test so much. I don't know if they think that we might cheat or something, but the test center, the traditional way, is still a little bit more accepted, okay, by universities. So there are certain universities that don't accept the home edition test. So that's another reason, okay? So these are the things that you guys should be considering when taking the test. You should be asking yourself those questions like, do you have everything ready to take the test at home? Do you get easily distracted or not? You know, consider those factors. So what do you guys think now? Do you have any questions so far? Everything clear? Okay, guys. So now it's time for us to get to know each other. And I want you guys to tell me a little bit about yourselves. Tell me your name, where you're from, where you're living. But mostly I'm interested in knowing like a little bit about you and how and why you're taking this course, you know? So why are you taking this course? Why are you taking the TOEFL test? What do you need it for? Tell me a little bit about what you've been doing, what you want to do in the future. Like maybe right now you're about to graduate from high school. Some students are graduating from high school. Other students have already completed their undergraduate degrees. Other students are planning for doing a master degree abroad. So tell me a little bit about that, you know, so what you need the test for. And another thing that would be really useful to know is if there's a specific score that you guys need in the test. So I know that some universities ask for specific scores. So if that's your case, let me know, guys. So could we start with Nicolas? Why don't you go first, please?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. My name is Nicolas Villamil. I am from La Paz, Bolivia. I am taking the course because I think it will help with my English. I love talking English, and also it will help with with the universities. And I am going to graduate from high school this year. So yeah, I think it will help me with universities.
Okay, Nicolas, great. So you say that you're finishing high school this year, and do you plan on studying abroad?
Yes, yes. I think I want to study in, I don't know right now, but I think I would like to study in maybe US or Europe. I don't know, or Mexico.
Okay, all right. So great. I like the fact that you're preparing it ahead and that right now you're starting. So that by the time maybe that you graduate, maybe you're already to taking the test, or maybe you're ready for it. So great, Nicolas.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that would be cool.
No.
Thank you.
What about you, Pansy?
I'm okay. My name is Benzi Urios Gonzalez. I'm from Cochabamba, Bolivia, and I want to take the TOEFL because well, I need to test. I need this test for my degree in the university. If I don't have the TOEFL, I don't have my psychology degree. And but even I don't need this TOEFL. I really want to take it because I want to apply to university for around of the world, and I know that this test is a request for it. So I really want to take this test.
Okay. So if you said that your university is asking you to take the test, what university do you go to?
I don't have an specific university, but I want to go to USA or go to UK, and I want to apply to Chiveni becas. I don't know how to say, but I want to have a master, and I need TOEFL, so I want to take it, even if my university don't has a requirement.
All right. Do you go to PB?
Yes, I study organizational psychology at UPB.
Okay, good. But yes, I'm aware that UPB like has this TOEFL requirement for students to get their degree. We have some students from UPB. Okay. Nice, busy, thanks. What about you, Ale? If you could please turn your camera on and introduce yourself.
I can't turn my camera on right now, but I'll do it tomorrow, I promise.
Okay.
I'm kind of sick, sorry. Well, I am Alejandra. I'm from Cochabamba, and I am taking this course in the TOEFL because I want to make I want to have a doctorate degree. So I'm planning to sending my, I don't know, proyectos, my doctor projects. I don't know how to say that in English, but yeah. So that's the reason, and I don't have a specific score for this test.
All right, Alejandra, thank you. So you should say you are applying for a doctorate degree, right? You've already, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
Oh, I am a teacher. I am a teacher. I am an art teacher at Calvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Alejandra. What about you, Alex or Emmanuel? I don't know which one you prefer.
Okay, my name is Axel Manuel Gonzalez. I am from Potosí, but study in Cochabamba. I am in the TOEFL course because my university asked me to have my ticker. I need a score more than 17. This.
Okay, Axel, do you go to UPB as well?
Sorry.
Do you also go to UPB?
Yes, I
No.
am studying at the University of UPB.
Nice. Okay, Axel, thanks. What about you, Alexandra?
Okay, hey, my name is Alexandra. I'm from Peru. I live in Lima. I'm taking this course because I need to practice and remember, because I studied English, but it was like 5 years ago. So sometimes I don't remember at all. And I need the certificate to apply a work and holiday visa. to go to New Zealand or Australia. So I need I think it's like 5 or 40 score for the top certificate.
Okay. 5 or 40, set?
Yeah, it's 40 or 50 because I need to 14 on writing, 14 on speaking at least, and then in the other 2 parts I need a 5 score, at least 5 or more.
Okay. All right. Good. That's really reasonable, I'd say. I'm pretty sure you can go more than that. Lorena, what about you?
Sorry. Hi, my name is Lorena. I'm from La Paz, Bolivia, but I live in Cochabamba. I am 27 years old, and I am a civil engineer, and I want to apply for a master degree with the same scholarship as Talk Pensi, Chevening scholarship. So that's why I'm taking this course.
All right, Lorena, thank you. So we have 2 students competing for the same scholarship. Okay, guys. So thank you all for introducing yourselves. It's really nice to meet you all. And I hope that during these 6 weeks that we're going to be spending together, we get to know each other a little bit more, and that this course meets your expectations, that you can get something out of it, that you find it useful. And as I said before, that you let this be the place to start, especially those of you who want to get or need to get a high score in the test. You'll need a lot of practice, right? So let's go. Okay. Now, coming back a little bit onto what the TOEFL test is, and this is actually something tricky right now. When do you guys, who said that? I think, Nancy, you said that you're gonna take it July the 8th, right?
Yes, yes.
Great. So we're gonna say something. The TOEFL test, throughout time, there has been some changes onto the TOEFL format, to the format of the test. So the current TOEFL format is the one that's been that started, I think, in August 2019, and is being held until July the 26th. Okay, I want you guys to remember this date, July 26th. What will happen is that the current format will change starting this date. So right now we have one test, but if you guys take the test after July 26th, then you have a different test. Okay? They are gonna change the format. They announced this recently. I think they announced it April 16th, or was it May 16th, like a couple of days ago. And honestly, I like the changes they've done. And the good thing is that in terms of content, they haven't changed the test much. So that the content of the test hasn't really changed, except from one section. The only section that has actually changed a little bit in terms of content is the writing section, okay? But the other sections are exactly the same in terms of content. The types of questions are the same. What you have to do is the same. The reading, the listening, everything's exactly the same. The only thing that is changing starting July 26th is the duration of the test, okay? So that's why I don't want you guys to remember this right now. Don't worry about this. I guess what we can say is that right now the test lasts 3 hours, 3.5 sometimes. This is the current test, all right? Right now, 3.5 hours. But starting July 26th, it'll only last 2 hours or less than 2 hours. Okay? So basically what they've done is they have shortened the test. They have reduced the number of questions. They have reduced the length of the instructions that used to take up a lot of time. And they have changed one writing question. Okay, that's the only thing that they've actually done. Changed one writing question. But everything else is still the same. So the content hasn't changed. The only thing that has changed is the time and one question of the writing section. Okay, we will see these changes when we get to the writing section. This is where we're gonna be seeing the changes. But the reading, listening, and speaking are exactly the same no matter when you take the test, whether it's before or after July 26th. So I don't know which one you guys or when you guys are gonna take the test, if you're gonna take it after or before July 26th, but keep this in mind, okay? To be honest, I would say that the new test, the one that's gonna be happening starting July 26th, is easier because it's shorter. You had a lot of unnecessary questions here that have been eliminated for the new one. So I don't know, if you guys have the option, then I would go for the second one. You know, if you have the option of like take it before or after, I'd go for taking it after July 26th. But if not, then honestly, it's the same. The only thing that's changed is the time, right? So that's the only thing. Now, does this affect? It does. I am a firm believer of the fact that you cannot just be prepared for the content, but you also have to be prepared for the experience. So that's why I always said to my students, make sure that you simulate the tests, right? So that you make sure that you do some simulation tests where you spend the 3.5 hours taking the exam. Because if you just practice separately, like you practice one day the reading and the other one the listening, maybe you'll master both sections, but you'll never know what it feels like to be taking the test section by like after section during 3 or 4 hours, right? Which is entirely different. This can be stressful. And by the time that you get to the speaking or writing sections, you can be trained. So it's always good to practice simulating the experience as well and preparing your mind for the test. But right now, I mean, with the new test, that won't happen anymore, right? Because 2 hours is not that much. So, you know, I guess that's something that we have to say, okay? So forget a little bit about the time. We'll talk about the changes and the time and how much time you will be taking the test when we get to each section. Do you have any questions about that so far? Nope. Now, as for the score, that hasn't changed. The maximum score you can get in this test is 120. That's the top score you can get. And each section is worth exactly the same. So the reading section is worth 30 points. The listening section is other 30 points. Speaking section 30. And finally, writing section other 30 points. And in total, they make 120. Okay. So, any questions before we continue? Okay, guys. Finally, here's our calendar. This is how we're gonna be organizing our 6 weeks. We are gonna start tomorrow, this week, on the reading section. So week number 1 will be covering the reading. On week 2, we'll be looking at the listening section. The 3rd week will be for speaking, 4th speaking. Then week number 5 will be speaking and writing. And finally, our last week will only be writing. Okay? So I want you guys to take a screenshot of this, please, because it's necessary for you to know where we are. All right, this is really important. Any questions now? Okay, now there's one more thing. You know, these are the 4 sections that you have in the test: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. The reading and the listening are both multiple choice. In the reading, you will be basically you'll basically be reading a passage and then answering questions about it. and the questions will all be multiple choice. So you either have a right answer or you have a wrong answer, you know? There's no way that you'll get lost. Same thing in the listening section. You listen to an audio file, they'll ask you some questions about that content. You have to answer choosing A, B, C, or D, and you either get it right or you get it wrong. So it's pretty straightforward, you know? And when you guys practice reading and listening, it'll be easy for you to practice because no matter where you practice, I am gonna be giving you guys access to one platform where you can practice, but it doesn't matter where, you'll always have your scores, right, and your results, and you'll be able to know where you made a mistake, how you made a mistake, and what the right choice is. So practicing reading and listening is relatively easy. But what happens with speaking and writing? Those are the toughest parts. What happens is in speaking and writing, for the speaking section, you will have to basically speak. So they will record your response, something that you say, and they will evaluate your response based on certain criteria. But what you say can never be wrong or right. You know, it's not like, oh, you said this wrong, so that's why you have this score. Don't have that. Same thing in the writing. So it depends on a number of criteria and rubrics that they use, which is why it can be a little bit difficult to practice speaking and writing, you know, because how do you know if you answered correctly? How do you know if your response was okay? How do you know what score you can get in the speaking and writing sections? Based on what? So that's why, because of this reason, for the speaking section, we will have 12 speaking sessions with you guys, with each one of you. So each one of you has the right to have these 12 speaking sessions, okay? What are these? These are basically one-on-one Zoom meetings, just like the one we're having right now, but it's gonna be just one of you and me. And we will be practicing the speaking section here. So in these speaking sessions, these meetings that we'll have, we'll be practicing the questions that we have in the speaking, and I'll be giving you guys feedback. That is the way that you work on the speaking section. That's the way that you practice and improve the speaking section, by receiving feedback, you know, by knowing where you can work, what you have to do, what your strengths and your weaknesses are. That's the only way. Because if you just practice like up in the air without no like anyone telling you there, I mean, giving you some tips, then you're not gonna be making progress. So that's why we have these speaking sessions. You have access to 12 of these sessions, and each one lasts 15 minutes. They are short, but they are useful, believe me. So you have 12 15-minute sessions that you guys have to book, okay? So you have to book them on your own. I won't be telling you when to have them. It's up to you. The only thing that you gotta remember is that you have to finish your 12 sessions by the time that you finish the course. After you finish the course, then you cannot take the sessions anymore. Okay? Now, the question, how to book these sessions? Don't worry about this right now. You guys will receive a document, a PDF explaining step by step what you have to do to book the sessions, how to create, because you have to do it through the website, so how to create the account, how to book the sessions and everything. All the technical details as to how to book the sessions will be there. Right now, I just want you to be aware that you have access to this, and you know, just make sure that you guys know. So what do you think? Do you guys have any questions about these speaking sessions? Is everything clear? Yes? Are you guys all sure? Okay, guys, so if everything's clear, two more things one more thing that I gotta say, every class will be recorded. This class is being recorded, and as well as every single class that we'll have. And it'll all be in a YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel will be in the description of the WhatsApp group chat. So you guys can access like the recordings of the classes anytime you want. If you ever miss a class, if you want to catch up, you want to review something, you can always watch the recordings, all right? So you'll have access to that, to the recordings of the class. I guess that's it. That's what I wanted to say. Any questions about that? No? So is everything clear? Is everything okay before we go?
Yes. Thank you, Andrea.
Okay. One more thing, before you go, please, I'm gonna launch today's daily survey. So right now on your screens, you should be seeing a survey. It's about how today's class went, and you'll have the same survey every day, okay? So please, if you could fill that out for me before you go, really appreciate it. And I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow with the reading section. Bye guys, take care.
Okay, bye, Andrea. Good night.
Bye, Andrea. Thank you.
Andrea,
Thank you.
see you tomorrow.